Please stay up. Sit. Tired. Oh, I need caffeine really bad, really bad. What the hell, honey? Like, do we need this information? Do I really care? No. Did I do it? No. Am I proud with what I did read? Yes. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Ashley and today we are going to be doing my September wrap-up. I did quite well this month. I'm quite proud. So, for the month of September, as you guys know, it was the month of Bookoplathon, Magical Readathon, and what the hell was the other one? Oh my god, I'm so terrible. Not safe for workathon. Please forgive me, I did not remember that. So, originally I set 15 books to read for the month of September. Did I do it? No. Am I proud with what I did read? Yes. So, for the month of September, I read a total of 11 books, which was a grand total in pages of 4,572, which is pretty good for the month of September, especially since there were a few books that were kind of, oh my god, why did I even bother? Okay, so the first book I read in the month of September, which has probably been one of my most anticipated reads for the whole month, if not, and it was The Heron's Cry by enquires. So this is book 2 in the Two Rivers series. If you are a fan of Vera and Shetland, you will know enquires as the author of those books as well. So the first book in this series follows Detective Matthew Venn, who comes home after many years away, after being driven out by his family after they discovered he was gay. So this I quite enjoyed. I read this in 2 days. As I am filming this video, they released the trailer for the adaptation of the first book, and it is just, oh, it is just beautiful. I cannot wait to see what they do with the first book in there. So I read this in a day and a half, which for me is the sign of a great book. I absolutely love this. Gave it 5 stars. I will give trigger warnings for suicide and mentions of suicide, because that does feature quite heavily throughout this book. But if you are a great lover of the Shetland and Vera series, also check those books out as well, because it is written by the same author. So this was the first book of the month and I really enjoyed it, gave it 5 stars, and yes, it was a great start to the month of September. Okay, so book number 2 I read in the month of September was probably one of the chunkiest books I read, and that was Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. So this is Jay's new book. This follows a guy called Gabe, who is essentially the last Silver Saint who are basically vampire hunters, and he is recounting his story to the vampires who were been holding him prisoner for the last 20 years, I think. So yes, I quite enjoyed this. This is the first Jay Kristoff book I've ever actually read. I quite enjoyed this. It did take a couple of days to get through. Probably the only thing I'd say about this is it did take, the plot in the middle did slow down quite a little bit, a bit too much for my liking, but I really did overall enjoy this. I loved the ending, gave it 4 stars out of 5. Quite interested to see where Jay takes book 2. As you can see, this is quite a chunky boy, so yes, this I absolutely quite enjoyed. Gave it 4 stars, couldn't quite give it 5 due to the slowdown in plot. But overall, this was a great read, and I am quite looking forward to reading Jay's other work. Okay, so book number 3 I read in September is one I do not have anymore because I had to return it to the library. But that was Rainbow Grey by Laura Ella Anderson. So this follows a young girl called Grey who lives in this world where weather magic is a thing, and all the kids go to the special school to hone their skills. And unfortunately, Grey at the time of the book, beginning of the book, doesn't have any of these special abilities, but she soon discovers that she can control rainbow magic, which is a rare sort of rainbow magic, and they all go on this lovely quest. So this was a book I really enjoyed. Binge read it in an afternoon, gave it 5 stars. Quite interested to see where the series goes, because the way it ended, I think it was going to be a series. I'm not quite sure if it is, but judging by the way the book ended, I'm pretty sure it will. So yes, that is a middle grade read. I highly recommend to anyone with kids. Definitely check it out. I quite enjoyed it, gave it 5 stars. Brilliant book. Okay, so the next book I finished in the month of September was one that was a pretty bit of a mixed bag for me, and that was Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb. Yes, I know, I didn't enjoy a Robin Hobb book as much as I thought. So this is book 2 in the Farseer trilogy. I really loved the first book, Royal Assassin. It did slump in the middle of the first book and then picked up again. Same thing happened again with this book, only this time I found that it took me quite a while to get into the plot of this one. The thing with Robin Hobb's books is that they are quite character based more than plot. Like, there is a plot to the book, but it's something that, this is a series that focuses quite a lot on characters, and you follow the characters a bit more than you do the plot. Like, the plot is in the background, but this is more character focused, which I do enjoy, but I found that for a good maybe middle chunk of the book, I really struggled to, I maybe read a couple of chapters and kept putting it down. So, but it did get better towards the end. I did give this 3.5 out of 5, not the 5 stars that the first one got, but I will be continuing this series as well, because this is just such a great, I love the way Robin Hobb describes her characters and the way you follow the characters through their turmoil throughout the plot, because a lot of bad things happens to Fitz throughout this, who is our main character. But yes, I'm quite disappointed that I didn't love this as much as book 1, but I definitely will be continuing the series as I go along, because yes, they do get chunkier. I think the next book is 800 and something pages, so I'm not going to get to that anytime soon, but I will in due course. Now, the next book. Do I really want to talk about this book? No. Did I read it? Oh, yes. Am I the idiot who's probably going to continue it? For some reason, yes. And that was A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. Now, before we go on, I loved her other books. I have quite enjoyed it. This one just, oh my god. How do I even start with this? I despised the writing style in this. If you watch any other videos like Becca's vlog, you'll know what I'm talking about. But to basically sum up why I hated the writing style, this book follows a girl called Elle, who is part of this magic school. Now, this magic school has no teachers, no classes. It's basically, it's a school that tries to kill its students, and the only way they can survive is either join a coven. Was it a coven? Well, I don't even know this. So basically, there's no teachers, no classes. All the students are basically left to their own devices, and this is a school that has many fantastical beasts that tries to kill them. So I quite liked the character of Elle. She was probably the only main thing I liked about this book. The biggest pet peeve I had with this was the writing style, as I've said. So the main issue with the writing style is the way she does world building, is that the main character Elle is Elle. How do I describe this? I don't know how to talk about this book without wanting to throw it across the room. Yes. So basically, we are following Elle's point of view throughout the novel, and you'll be in the middle of an action scene and something's happening, and then she'll go off on a totally different tangent. Oh, by the way, this is how this happened, blah blah blah. And by the time you get back to what was happening, you think, what the hell, honey? Like, do we need this information? Do I really care? No. Just the way this book frustrated me so much. I have heard it's better in audio. It is easier to understand. The thing that made me what annoys me most is that the ending in this book just piqued my interest enough to want to continue. Like, how is that possible? So I gave this 2.5 out of 5 stars. Would I recommend this? Not really. I know some people have really loved this. Yes, I probably will, if I do continue this series, which may not be for a long time because by the end of this book I just didn't really care. I probably, if I do continue this series, it will be in audiobook form. Hopefully that is better than reading it, because this was a struggle to get through. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Let's just get that out of my head, because I don't care. And following the disaster that was A Deadly Education, I did pick up a 4-star rating, which was Evermore by Sarah Holland. So this was my Bookopoly prompt for the lowest rated. So if you've read, is it Everless? Everless, yes. So the first book in this series, Everless, follows a young girl called Jules, and in this world, time is a basic commodity. So the way time works is that it is sold to people. You have to essentially buy your time on Earth to live, and the rich have more time than the poor. So I quite enjoyed this as a sequel. I basically read this in pretty much 24 hours, so it took me just over a day to read. I quite like this. The ending felt a little bit too rushed for me. It was a bit too anticlimactic is what I was looking for. So I could only give this 4 stars. The reason I gave it 4 stars was because of that ending. It just felt too rushed for me. But yes, I did quite enjoy this for what it was. Will I reread it? Maybe. I do recommend this as a duology though. So definitely check that out if you guys are interested in a quick YA read, because I thoroughly enjoyed this, as I did read it in a day. 3 books I read in the month of September I do not have with me either, because they were library books as well, but they were Heartstopper volumes 1, 2 and 3 by Alice Oseman. So yes, I know I'm late to the hype train on this series, but I'm so glad I did pick these up. Loved every single one of them, gave them 5 stars each. I think I binge read them in 2 days? 2 days, yes. So I binge read them in 2 days, absolutely loved them, gave them 5 stars. So this follows a couple of boys. One is Nick and the other is Charlie. Now, Charlie is openly gay and Nick is not, but when they are forced together during class, and the more they get to know each other, Nick kind of realises that maybe he's not as straight as he thought he might be. So I highly recommend this to anyone who, like me, has not got onto the hype train yet. I'm definitely on it now. This was very good for me to pick me up out of the reading slump I had after Deadly Education, because that was just so disappointing. Hey guys, so the second last book I read in the month of September was an e-arc, which was kindly gifted to me by the publishers, and that was Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson. Now, as I'm filming this, I've tried at least 2 times to try and describe the book, so I'm going to break out my phone and read the synopsis, because that's a bit easier than me trying to explain it with my lack of coffee in my system. The dead of L'Oreal do not rest. Artisma is training to be a Grey Sister, a nun who cleanses the bodies of the deceased so that their souls can pass on. Otherwise they will rise as twisted spirits with a ravenous hunger for the living. She'd rather deal with the dead than the living, who point and whisper about the old girl who was once possessed by a violent spirit. When her convent is attacked by possessed soldiers, Artisma fights back by awakening, excuse my English, an ancient spirit bound to a high saint's relic. It is a revenant. I cannot speak today. A malevolent being now whispering in her head, wielding extraordinary power, almost consumes her body and soul. I need more coffee. But death has come to L'Oreal, and only a Vespertine, a priestess trained to wield a high relic, has a chance of stopping it. Yet the age of Vespertines has passed, their knowledge and training lost with time. As Artisma investigates a mystery of saints, secrets, and dark magic, an ancient evil is stirring. Can an untrained girl, tormented by the burden of containing the reverence-devouring power, have any hope of defeating it? So this was quite an enjoyable read. I have enjoyed Margaret Rogerson's book, Sorcery of Thorns? yes, Sorcery of Thorns. So I quite enjoyed that book. This book I really, really enjoyed as well. I loved the banter between Artisma and the Revenant. I said it right this time. The only thing I found was the plot did lag a little bit in the book, so I did give this 4 out of 5 stars. Highly recommend it to anyone who loved Sorcery of Thorns or Enchantment of Ravens. I haven't read that yet, but I now plan to. So yes, another great 5-star read towards the end of the 5-star read. It was a 4-star read. I seriously need more coffee. Okay, and the final one I read in the month of September, which was possibly the best way to end the month with a high, and that was Defy the Night by Bridget Camera. So this is her new young adult series, and in this one we follow a young girl called Tessa, who in this kingdom there is a sickness going throughout the kingdom, and the only way that it can be managed is through a magical flower. But this cure is highly managed by the king and his brother Corrick. Yes, Corrick. I'm really terrible at remembering names today. So this follows the perspective of Tessa and Corrick. I really, really loved the dynamic between the two characters. So you basically get an understanding of why Corrick is so... He's not evil. Well, he is bad to some extent, but you can understand why he does the things he does, and you can understand Tessa and the way she does the things she does as well. So this is another book I binge read in basically a day. I love the writing style in this, love the characters of it, highly recommend it. I don't know where the sequel is going to go. I do know this is going to be a trilogy. The way it ended, I sort of would understand if that's where they left it, but I'm quite excited to see where this book goes in terms of plot in the next one, because yes, I'm quite excited to see how she expands upon the world and the characters. So another great way to end off the month of September. Okay guys, so oh my god, look at these. So this, with the exception of the books I don't have, is my September wrap-up. I think I did a pretty decent job, given the fact I had set 15 books and I read 11. So, as we can see, nice, lovely little stack here. Pretty average reading month, a couple of great reads, some not so much. Deadly Education, I'm looking at you. It's quite proud of this reading stack, despite the fact that I set out to read 15 and only read 11. So that is it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you loved it, please do give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, and I shall see you in the next one.